Rich, thanks for joining us. We'll get to the actual tournament here in a moment, but we did have a question here. Have you been on Tiger Woods' yacht, Privacy?
I have not been on Privacy. I found it odd yesterday that Tiger was asked about being docked in Sag Harbor and what did he think of the town. He said, it's a cute little town. I haven't had a chance to walk around, but I hope to. Like Friday afternoon after dropping 69, Tiger's going to be walking around Sag Harbor shopping for raspberry soap and one-of-a-kind greeting cards in the cute little town. I mean, this is Tiger 2.0. This is the comfortable, relaxed Tiger Woods, not the grind-it-out, step-on-your-neck Tiger Woods. No, I've not been on the dinghy, as he calls it, Privacy.
Do you know somebody who's been on the dinghy?
I do not.
Would you tell me if you did?
I would.
Okay.
I figured you might be here with the beautiful people in the Hamptons.
No, it's just not my scene. I mean, I'm more of a grinder. Yeah, I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy.
Have you played golf out here at all? Any of the great courses?
I have not played.
This is like the best region for golf maybe in the world.
Yeah.
Like this stretch.
I covered the 86 U.S. Open with Raymond Floyd, and I wasn't playing golf at the time. And I just remember how interesting that was because I had been to Europe. I had been to, Scotland and Ireland and seen those courses. But I saw Shinnecock, and it was something different. So fascinated by it and was there in 1986.
Regular guy golf. You would fit in well with my group. I had a moment a couple of weeks ago, late in the day, playing. I had that moment of reflection where you look out, the sun is setting, and you think, wow, this is golf. And then I turned around, and my buddy was taking a pee in a bush smoking a Marlboro, and I thought, no, this is golf. And onward we went.
Would you rather win the Masters, U.S. Open, or British Open? If I said the U.S. Open was at Pebble, the British Open at St. Andrews, or you could win the Masters?
Masters.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Second, I'd say the Open. In the elements, I'd like to win the Open. In the elements, I'd like to have, a Argyle sweater on. And I'd like to hear the old commentators, late great commentator Alex say, as I walked up 18, he's on the 400 bar now. He's come from 3 adrift, and now he's about to go round in 67 strokes to win the credit jug. And that would be one of the great feelings in sports. And I've talked to players about this. Is walking up 18 or the 72nd hole of a major championship, 10,000 on each side and behind the green, and you have a 2-stroke lead, and you take the cap off and just soak it in for the final 40, 50 yards up that last fairway. That must be an amazing feeling.
We haven't talked too much about Tiger recently, and I don't know. I think there was hope by the media because they wanted to cover something different or something they had covered before. But Tiger's realistic chances at Shinnecock are what?
I would say this. Would I be surprised if he won? No, because I think his body of work since he came back, start of the year, has been pretty good. 2 top 5s. He had 2 decent chances to win Valspar when he made that putt on the 71st hole, and then as well at Bay Hill. I think he needs to drive it better, and he needs to putt better. Those are the 2 obvious. Like, he can't drive it all over the planet. The rough is too high here. And obviously he has to putt like old Tiger. He has to make pretty much everything or 90% of everything he looks at from inside of 10 feet or inside of 5 feet. If he's not putting like old Tiger, then I don't think he's going to have a great chance.
Isn't there an NHL referee who's playing in the U.S. Open?
Is there?
Have you? Yeah, I thought.
Is Ed Hockley in the field?
No, Ed Hockley is not in the field. I thought there was an NHL referee who qualified for the U.S. Open.
It's possible. You'll forgive me. I'm not aware of that, and shame on me.
Yeah, I apologize.
And by the way, thinking of referees across, is there like now a baseline rule where you have to be jacked? You have to be like a massive bodybuilder to be an official in the NBA or the NFL.
Well, it's vanity now because you're on TV.
Jacked. Yeah.
Fritzy, who do we have the official's name?
His name is Garrett Rank. He's actually going to join you on Friday on the show. NHL ref who qualified for the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
No, look. One thing about the USGA or the U.S. Open is you can get stories like that. I mean, you can get 17-year-old, you get this kid Noah Goodwin. You can get, theoretically, you can get an NHL official, you can get a mailman. If you're good enough, you can qualify. And they had almost 10,000 people sign up to try to qualify for the U.S. Open.
Can we still call in and rat people out? Is there still a hotline, or is that over?
That's kind of over, but they will have officials now watching.
Okay.
I don't know. How do you feel about?
I figure
viewers adjudicating professional events.
No. Whatever happens, and if somebody misses it, they missed it. I don't want Big Brother watching here. There's too many armchair officials as it is, and then you give them validation. Then people are going to be calling in or emailing all the time and thinking they saw something and they don't even know the rules. But no, if Tigers followers pick up a rock and move it and nobody calls it in the moment, then you know what? Play on. You all right with that?
Agreed.
All right.
I'm good with that.
We have our draft tomorrow, and this is a a 4-round draft here, Paulie. So. We want to know some of the people that you like. Now, obviously the favorites, but if there's any sneaky picks. So number 1 overall pick, if you had the first pick to win the U.S. Open, Rich Lerner from the Golf Channel would take?
Dustin Johnson.
All right. That wasn't creative.
No, but when you can drop 310-yard airmail consistently, hit it high and soft like he does, and he drives it pretty straight. He's putting well, really confident. I love Dustin Johnson's game. I mean, he's the pitcher who strikes out the side on 9 pitches, high heat, 103 on the gun, and then just saunters to the dugout like nothing happened. He's the coolest dude in the sport. And what I think's interesting about him is years ago, you remember when he sort of blew it at Whistling Straits?
Yeah.
Bunker Gate. Do you remember that? And sort
the
of
waste bunker
majors that he let get away. In the early days, he was kind of viewed as Nuke LaLoosh from Bull Durham, $1 million arm and a 5-cent head. And I don't mean to be cruel, but that was just the view. Now, that was unfair because it turns out he actually has a really good head for golf in that he lets things roll off his back. He doesn't sweat stuff, and that's important at a U.S. Open because you're going to get screwed. You're going to get a bad break. Especially this week on these greens, you have bumpy putts on the POA. He's obviously much more than Nuke LaLoosh. He's legit. He's going to end up being like a 30 to 35 win guy when all is said and done if he stays healthy. I mean, he'll be among the 20 best players ever if he doesn't get hurt when he's all said and done. But anyway, I like Dustin. Right. I like Ricky and Rory. And I think, a good value play is Patrick Reed at 30 to 1.
Who should I stay away from? Who should I absolutely stay away from?
I'm going to give you a guy, and he's going to end up winning. Stay away from. Probably stay away from. You put me on the spot here, and I'm trying to think. I mean, I like Jason Day. He's got a great record at the U.S. Open. Who are you looking at? And I'll tell you if you should.
Who would you take if I said Phil or Tiger?
Phil. I would probably lean toward Phil.
Okay.
I would lean toward Phil.
Jordan Spieth, are you all in on Jordan Spieth this week?
No, I mean, I have mixed feelings about Jordan. I mean, I'm slightly concerned about his putting. I mean, it's almost hard to fathom. I mean, this guy made everything he looked at. He was Tiger 2.0, and now he's 190th in that putting stat they have, strokes gained putting. But that said, he has an innate athlete's sense for the big moment, and you just need to think about what he did Sunday at the Masters. I don't long-term worry about Jordan, and he's a great player who's in a sort of a funk with his putting right now. If he can get out of his head and get into being an athlete, and he's a really good athlete, he'll be fine. But I'm don't love him because I don't think he's in a great place. But that said, would I be shocked? No, you're never shocked with a guy like Jordan because he rises to the occasion, the big ones.
Rich, good to talk to you. I'll be watching later on tonight. I'll be critiquing, things like how your tie looks, just simple things like that. So I'm watching and writing down notes that I then hand into Golf Channel management.
I understand that. How's the school going?
That's great. Yeah,
in Orlando.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We'd love to have you come over and talk to the students. That'd be great.
I'd love that, Dan. That would be great. Who is your pick? Lastly, who is your pick to win the Open?
I can't say it now because we have a draft tomorrow, and then the Danettes are then going to take that, and then it might come back and haunt me.
And did you guys ever resolve mini golf gate?
I think Paulie's accepted the fact that he didn't sign his scorecard, whether he, the other Danettes were helped in signing their scorecard, but Paulie didn't sign his scorecard. So I think Fritzy somehow won. There is going to be a rematch, though. McLovin forgot to put down his score for 18, and so he was DQ'd. Paulie DQ'd, so Fritzy won, and then there's going to be a rematch here and probably a shower of shame attached to that. So the stakes will be very, very high.
Possibly a segment for Chambly and Nobilo on Live From tonight at 7 o'clock.
I would love that.
I have to get Brandel to run the numbers on this.
Oh,
to go to
my
Shot
God.
Link and
yeah.
do a deep dive on this.
Thank you, Rich. We'll be watching tonight.
See you guys.
That's
Bye-bye.
Rich Lerner. Rich Lerner, Golf Channel host.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.